Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Michael Payette. Thank you for clicking on this video, and we're back with another banger. Today we're just going to be talking about my Traxxas Rustler. I've had it for around a year now, so I just want to go over what I've done, what I think you should do on yours, and priority list, basically. So first thing I should say is, this thing is a tank now that I've fully upgraded it, basically. The only really damage is on here, the body. After a year, it's obviously going to get damaged. Like, I got a hole here, hole up here, a lot of damage, but that's not really a big deal. Still protects it. So we'll start on the front. I upgraded to the RPM bumper. It was one of my first upgrades, and it's a necessity. When you smash this thing into the wall, this thing needs all the force, and it protects it. Like, I've hit this thing multiple times on a curb, full pin, and the only thing that damaged was the ESC. It went flying, just because it mounts with these little plastic clips. But a little bit of Gorilla Glue fixed that, and now it's solid on there. As you can see, I upgraded to Pro-Line shocks. Can't go wrong with those guys. They're metal. I have, I think, 30 weight fluid in there. It's beautiful. It just rides over all those bounces, and it shocks up very easily. The back sags a little bit, but that's simply just because my A-arms aren't broken into as good as they should be. And I find on the back, the bottom caps of my shock unthread very easy, and then the fluid just leaks out. We also have RPM A-arms front and back, upgraded turnbuckles, camber links, upgraded caster blocks. Those are metal, and then obviously I can't remember what they're called, but they're the part that hook on to your turnbuckles. So those are RPM front and back. If we move on, upgraded steering servo obviously was the first thing I broke. We head to the back. Pretty much it. Upgraded drive shafts. I didn't go with metal. I went with just the heavy duty plastic until these break, because I bought them as replacements, and I finally blew a drive shaft the other day. Check out that video. Link's right there. And I also ripped the shock out. Didn't know how I managed that. I simply took the bolt out of the shock tower, put the shock back in, and screwed it in. It's fine. I also upgraded tires. I have this set, a bigger pair for the back, and I also have a street tire set. You can't go wrong. This thing is two-wheel drive, and I took the wheelie bar off because with the added weight in the front, it doesn't wheelie as much. Like, the suspension just goes in and it bounces over everything, and I love it. This is one of my favorite machines, and when you're ripping it out on the track or hard-packed dirt, which is what I think it's best for, just the mean stance of the front with the wide A-arms looks killer. They didn't have the wide backs, so I just didn't get them. I don't even know if they make them. I haven't really looked into it, but I think it sits perfect like this. People think it looks funky because these stick out more than these, but it is what it is. I love the look of it. So a quick little video. If I were you, number one priority is this front bumper. Number two would be tires. Number three would be a steering servo, because you're gonna go, especially once you put these big tires on there, just the plastic gears don't have the power. My next upgrades to really make this thing fully upgraded is my shock towers. I want to get those guys metal just because they look so clean. And I'm thinking maybe a body that just sits like this, just over the electronics, because you can get all this out. Also, I do plan to put a hobby wing system in here very soon. I'm not sure when. There's a few other things I want to do with some other RC cars, so stay tuned for those videos. But it's definitely on my list. And then we'll take this brushless system out and put it in my Fortec, which is also another machine that I love. But highly recommend this as a first RC, but it all depends what you're ripping in. Like, when I go to the sand pits, I'm not going to bring my Rustler. It just doesn't have the capabilities, because it's not four-wheel drive. It's not going to be able to keep up with like the Haas and the Slash 4x4. So I'm going to bring something like my Creighton or even my XMAXX on those types of materials. But when I go to the track, I am bringing this guy no matter what other car I'm bringing. If I bring my Creighton, this guy's coming with me. If I bring my XMAXX, it's coming with me. And I love this thing. And one of my favorite things about this car is it's so easy to work on. You break something, you take your shell off, and you can see absolutely everything. I know that most Traxxas cars are like that, but I find like with my Creighton, when you go look in, it's a little bit more complicated. It's harder to find certain things, and it's a lot harder to get into things. Like this, pretty much anything, you can just take the tires off and you have access, and not even. Like, you can remove the motor without even touching your tires. You just got to sneak some tools in there and pull your suspension down and up a little bit, but beautiful car, highly recommend it. I know it's a quick video and, you know, not really a point to it, but if you're gonna buy a Rustler, I highly recommend it, depending the material you're gonna rip on. If it's hard packed, go for it, amazing. Amazing car for hard packed dirt. I love it, and it can take a beating. If you don't believe me, check out my other video, and you'll see this thing can hit a jump, flip, land all funky, and it's just gonna drive out of it. That may be because I am fully upgraded, but honestly, these parts altogether aren't too expensive. Like, they add up. If you went and bought them one shot, it's a couple $100. But the most expensive thing I have on here are my shocks, which are 79 bucks Canadian for two. So 140 just in shocks. A-arms are pretty affordable, bumper pretty affordable. Steering servo was a little bit on the expensive side. But like I said, I had this for a year, so I slowly did upgrades. And now we're almost at the point where it's fully upgraded. And I love it. I know I probably said that 50 times in this video, but I brought it to the track the other day, and I fell in love with this machine a whole nother time. Like, I loved it when I first got it. You know, I bought a bunch of other RC cars. I kind of forgot about it. But I brought it back to the track, and I remember why I bought it, and I remember why I love it so much. So I just wanted to share that with you. So, like, let me recap one more time. Priorities, definitely first thing you should buy with the car before you even put any upgrades on is an RPM bumper. Protect the front. You know, it's going to save you a lot of headaches. Number two, you're probably going to end up breaking an A-arm or a casting block or, you know, that other part. I can't think of the name. It's skipping my head. But it's where your camber link goes on the wheel. Maybe your turnbuckle, where the turnbuckle goes on the wheel. And then you're probably going to go through shocks like crazy. So just don't replace them, upgrade them, and it'll be worth it. And go buy a Rustler if you're thinking about it. It's a great vehicle. I love it. And it's something you got to have in your collection. It's an OG. It's been around forever. And the amount of aftermarket support is crazy. And the amount of parts out there are crazy. And your hobby shop guarantee is going to have parts for it, and ifs or buts. So, as always, I'm Michael Payette. You have a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure you check out me bashing this guy. And check out my unboxing for the XMAXX because, well, it's an XMAXX. So, go check that out. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And smash this like button if you like the Rustler, if you like me, or if you like the video. And if you didn't, that dislike button's there. Feel free to use it. So take care, guys.